Today, we're going to dig into a really powerful idea from the author Robert Greene. It's all about how to train your brain for deep focus and, well, real intellectual strength. And it all starts by changing not just what you read, but how you read it. So, does this sound familiar to you? You sit down to read a book, and like 2 minutes later, you're reaching for your phone. You're trying to get through a long article, but your brain is already scouting for the next little dopamine hit. Well, according to Greene, that isn't some kind of personal failure. It's actually by design. And here it is. This is the heart of the problem. Greene argues that our modern habits, everything from school assignments to scrolling social media, have basically trained us to consume information in tiny little pieces. We get the passage, the chapter, the highlight. We're actually losing the skill of engaging with a whole work, from start to finish. So, this leads us to what you could call the modern reading problem. See, our constant search for content that's super easy and instantly entertaining, that's not just a harmless preference. It's actually making our minds weaker. Think about your information intake like you think about your diet. If all we ever do is snack on content that's just fun and distracting, we get mentally lazy. We get so used to that quick, easy hit of entertainment that we lose our appetite for anything that, really challenges us. So what's the fix? Well, this is where Greene gives us this absolutely brilliant metaphor. He says we need to start thinking of reading difficult books, not as a chore, but as resistance training. Like a full-on gym workout, but for your brain. I mean, it's a perfect one-to-one comparison, right? At the gym, you lift heavy weights. That creates physical resistance, and that's what builds muscle. Well, forcing yourself to push through a really slow or dense or difficult chapter in a book, that creates mental resistance. And it's that struggle, that very friction, that builds the intellectual muscle for things like patience and deep focus. Think about it. If lifting 200 pounds was easy, it wouldn't build a single ounce of muscle. It's exactly the same with reading. All the value, all the growth, it comes directly from grappling with the resistance, with the difficulty. Okay, so let's really nail down what we mean by mental resistance. It's all about flipping our perspective on things we normally try to avoid. It's about finding the actual value in boredom, in the slow parts, in the difficulty. That friction, that is precisely what makes you intellectually stronger. Okay, so if reading is our new gym, what's the actual workout plan? Well, Greene gives us a super actionable guide for building that mental strength. He lays out 3 really powerful rules. First, finish every single book you start, even the boring ones. That's how you train your patience. Second, you have to deliberately choose the heavyweights, the long, complex books on difficult topics that really stretch your brain. And third, actively go find and read opposing views to break out of your own echo chamber. And hey, struggling with a book doesn't mean you just have to sit there passively. Greene says you should make it an active dialogue. If you really hate a book, argue with it. Take angry notes in the margins, question the author's logic. This is how you turn that frustration into genuine engagement. And that third role, that's a special kind of resistance, isn't it? It's not about complex writing. It's about the friction of confronting ideas that make you uncomfortable. And that friction is absolutely essential for training yourself to have an open mind and to think more critically. So, you do the work. You put in the mental reps, day after day. What's the payoff? Let's talk about the incredible results you get from this kind of intellectual training. The first huge payoff is that you get to reclaim your own pace. The internet wires our brains for speed, right? To just jump from one thing to the next. Deep reading is the perfect antidote. It forces you, it trains you to slow down, to be patient, and to truly absorb ideas instead of just skimming over them. Ultimately, the muscles you build here are immense. You're not just reading a book. You are literally forging deep patience, lasting concentration, and a genuinely open mind. You basically gain the superpower to slow down and think deeply in a world that is screaming at you to speed up. You want a real-world example of a heavyweight lift? Go try and read one of Robert Caro's biographies on Lyndon B. Johnson. Some of those are over 1,000 pages long. I mean, finishing a book like that isn't just about learning history. It is an incredible feat of patience and concentration. It fundamentally retrains your mind. So this brings it all back to you. The gym is open, the equipment is just sitting there waiting. The only question is, what's going to be your first mental heavyweight? What challenge are you going to pick up to start building a stronger, more focused mind?